Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are enjoying yourself. Well, we have another video to showcase today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking my videos and subscribing to my channel and sharing it with your friends and your family. Thanks for your continued support. Without any delay, let's get into today's feature. Thank you.
To be granted the power to pre-approve applications as CEO, and which was rejected by Dennis Meadows as the deputy chairman. A copy of a US check valued at $3,000 US from a lawyer whose client, Jilted Finance, paid an FLA investigator, Mr. Taylor, to seize her former fiance's gun. The matter is said to have been referred to Mocha, but nothing is heard of since. The audit, copying from the report of the House, the Auditor General needs to come to the public on the missing remote gate at the FLA. The gate was purportedly purchased for FLA and found and installed at the CEO's house of Cherry Gardens, the house that is alleged. The house that is alleged to be. It's also alleged that Miss Tesselin Golding and Levine whatsoever so them say no. The Integrity Commission and Mocha needs to investigate the questionable acquisition of wealth by Mr. Dalling. Within a year as the CEO, he purchased Mr. Harold Brady's house and a spanking new Benz. How comes, Lord Jesus? The question must be asked by Mr. Dalling. Why is Dalling being protected in the face of damning allegations in the public space? If the FLA was a private company, he would have been asked to be dismissed. So what they're saying, if Dalling was CEO or managing director of a private entity, his resignation would be requested immediately. Means that after him talk yesterday, he would have to resign. His reckless utterances have exposed the FLA to costly legal liabilities. It begs to question why he's being allowed to be so reckless. If a board have 5... Who is this calling me? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
Is this Andre?
Yes, I'm on my live right now. Is something pertaining to the live you want to discuss?
No, sir. I actually wanted to congratulate you on you educating us young people. I recently started following you, but to be honest with you, you're very intelligent. I admire that so much.
Oh, thank you, my darling.
And I just, as I said before, just continue to do the good work.
All right, thank you. Just send me a WhatsApp and tell me your name, and I'll save your number so you can get my daily broadcast.
Okay, all right, no problem.
So if Mr. Dalling was CEO or managing director of a privately owned entity, his resignation would have come immediately after he made the things that he has known public. Failing which he had dismissed a summary, right? His reckless utterances have exposed the FLAs to costly legal liabilities. It begs the question, why is he being allowed to be so reckless if in a board of a minimum of 5, a maximum of 5 members, a minimum majority of 3 is required to approve a licensees? So why is it that Mr. Shane Dalling has a personal vendetta against Dennis Meadows? Former Mayor Keith Hines, who had a pest control contract he got under the People's National Party. When Dalling took the reins of CEO, he summoned Hines to his office and told him that he, Dalling, has to get something from the contract, so he must put something on the bill. He reluctantly did it for a month, Lord Jesus, only to be demanded of Dalling that he wants it monthly. Hines refused and the contract was terminated. Keith Hines, is there any truth that Mr. Shane Dalling called you in the office for a pest control contract that you got under the PNP? And when you got this pest control contract, is there any truth that Shane Dalling called you in the office telling you that he wants a monthly compensation from the contract, and because you neglected in giving him such, you were denied the contract at, no wait, it's not the FLA, at the Cayman Track Limited? Is some serious hot waters are going in Jamaica. Why is PNP Pastor Michael Harvey so silent on the matter? Mr. Dalling, did Levine Allen, who is said to have collected funds from the Don? Shane, did you push Shamika from FLA because she was hated amongst the other ladies and you used it against them? Use it against each other. Did you make advances to Shamika and she refused and you fired her? Our Pastor Michael Harvey. This Miss Allen collects money from persons, and Shane Dalling, you heard about it. And you kept her close because she's a watchdog, I'm told for you. And Miss Tesling Golding was promoted. I have to call somebody who wants to talk to Jamaica about what is happening at the FLA. And this is a businessman that don't really talk much.
Yo.
Hi, hello. I'm on the live. Rohan, how are you? Rohan.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
What is happening at the FLA?
Nothing is happening than Shane Dalling is just being a selfish man.
Selfish how?
Shane Dally is going around telling lying people that used to sit on the board before him, and he has no evidence of whatever he's speaking about.
So you're saying, Mr. Rohan, that what kind of business you do, Mr. Rohan?
I am a businessman in the Kingston area, sir. And Shane Dally denied my application as a businessman who owns several businesses.
So on what basis was the application denied, Mr.?
They are saying that I do not have enough. I don't know the right word that they use because I'm not seeing the email right now. But they are basically saying if you don't meet the criteria, I don't know what is the criteria because I am a taxpayer, I'm a businessman, and I have vehicle. So, and those are the criteria. And they are telling me that I have been denied, and the review board is looking into the matter. Foolishness they are telling me, because people apply after me get through, and nobody even contact you in 2 to 3 years to say your application has been whatever. Nothing.
So I'm being asked now. Them saying Shane Dalling says over 200 criminals have approval. You know of any things like this?
No, I don't know of any criminal applying for any gun. Any criminal got gun is Shane Dalling and him friend and give them, because let me tell you something, my friend. Most of the people who get gun under Shane Dalling are criminal.
So it's not Dennis Meadows.
Dennis Meadows gave good thinking citizen gun, because under Dennis Meadows, the FLA is a welcoming organization. Under Shane Dalling is one big foolishness. So they are telling people about Dennis Meadows did this and that gun. Mr. Dalling cannot prove nothing that he's saying and making a fool of the Jamaica government. Mr. Dalling need to go home.
So, what you say? What is happening in the firearms community? What is it?
Shane Dalling is giving his little criminal friends and associate guns. And what is happening? Well-thinking Jamaicans are not getting any firearm. So the
do you know any well-thinking Jamaican who you can say they don't get back them license? Because
no, it's not get back any license, you know. What I want to tell you is not get back. Shane Dalling not granting them none. And as sooner or later the government will have to pay the FLA workers, because Shane Dalling, under his watch, there will be no money made by the FLA, because the FLA is a business at the end of the day. And if the FLA is a business, my friend, it simply means that money has to be made. If there is no gun licensing, it's being issued to people who are paying for them, the FLA will become crippled. And also, Shane Dalling must also note that the Chinese couple did not apply for any gun. He's the son.
It's the son.
The couple, not the dead people. He's too light. And there are many more Chinese who applied and they don't get it, because they are not affiliated with Shane Dalling. Shane Dalling needs to understand that the FLA is not his business, it's a government business and Jamaica.
Why, Jesus? So you are saying, Rohan, Mr. Rohan, you know anybody who have got, because I hear there was a big man who is range. You know the name of the big man?
Yes, my friend. There is this gentleman in the Maxfield area that used to have his gun shop. Mr. Kent Brown, man.
Who is Mr. Kent Brown?
Mr. Kent Brown is one of the oldest firearm dealers in the island, you see. Very, very old. He's an experienced man. If not the best firearm dealer in the island. And man like that at his age has to scratch him head based on what Mr. Shane Dalling is doing.
What Mr. Dalling do to Mr. Kent Brown?
A lot of things he knows. I don't have to say it, you know, my friend.
No, man. He would tell us.
It was alleged that Mr. Dalling and his friends seemed to take away the man's range license. And Mr. Kent Brown is one of the first little man who sought out gun business in Jamaica properly.
So you're saying that one of Jamaica's elders in the gun and firearm licensees department, Mr. Kent Brown.
I am telling you, my friend, Mr. Kent Brown is like a major authority where the gun is concerned. Very disciplined man, a good businessman for many years, with no foolishness on his name or credibility. And Mr. Shane Dalling is the one that's going around taking away people's firearm. And when he doesn't do stuff like that, my friend, the people of the world is now saying that Mr. Dalling is a madman. Because he's right now, as we speak, in fear. Because he's saying on national TV that he cannot do any farmer business and whatever. And he can't be at his house and comfortable. How do you going to be comfortable, my friend, when you go around and take away people's firearm like that? It's not going to work, my brother.
Jesus. So people like Mr. Kent Brown, who is a known dealer who should have the licenses. You say the man gun range licenses was taken away?
The man, all of the man's stuff was held on to by the FLA, and that is madness, my brother.
So what about, I hear an argument going around that the people at Azan's, Mr. Azan's, wait, the caller soon come back.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Rohan. I hear an argument go around. I'm hearing people talking about it, that the Azans in Crossroads, the man, his gun was taken away too.
Well, I cannot tell you if that's what's happening, my brother. It was alleged, I don't know. It's also alleged that the man take away Tom Tavares' firearm, you know. It's alleged, nobody can prove it, but that is what is happening.
Tom Tavares, not the president of the Senate.
Yes, and also, Mr. Shane Dalling must remember, there are people in government before him. And when he's going to challenge a fellow JLP member, that is madness. It shows that the Prime Minister do not have any control over the country, my brother.
So you're saying that Brogard losing it to them?
Well, I don't know anything about Brogard, you see, my friend. I am not interested in that. All I can tell you, Mr. Dalling needs to leave the FLA or the Prime Minister will find himself in problem because there will be a deficit hole that will be boring in the Ministry of Finance to pay the workers of FLA. Because 2 years from now, under the management of Mr. Shane Dalling, the FLA will be bankrupt. Then it's made us make over $1 billion for FLA, you know. What Shane has made in the time that he's there. Foolishness, utter rubbish, my friend.
But I hear the argument that Mr. Dalling purchased Mr. Harold Brady's house. Is there any truth to that argument?
Well, you'd have to ask Mr. Harold Brady that. I'm not sure. But based on how he's going, he can purchase anything. He's master of corruption, if you ask me.
Whoa! So you're saying that Shane Dalling is this corrupt?
I am not saying that Shane Dalling is corrupt, you know, my friend. What I am saying to Shane Dalling is the Firearms License Association is a business, and he should treat it as such. Once you meet the requisition that they give to you, give the citizen the firearm. Stop telling the citizen foolishness, because gunman is going to do all type of things to the citizen because they cannot defend themselves. So what Shane Dalling is doing now is to make the gunman aware that the regular Jamaicans cannot get firearm. So they can do as they like, and that is not going to happen. Because people will be end up in places trying to get illegal guns to defend themselves. Because Shane Dalling and the Prime Minister not giving them no gun and no security.
So what are you saying to me, my friend?
What I am trying to say is if every well-thinking Jamaican should get a firearm, they will be able to defend themselves. Shane Dalling should stop act like the FLA is a wholesale. And he also should consult with the board before he come public. Because he's opening a can of worm on the government. And he cannot manage it. So I'm trying to tell Mr. Dalling, leave the FLA and go home and do something, my brother. And let people go on.
So who you think? So you think that Dennis Meadows should go back to the FLA?
I think so, because right now, you know, if you ask me, Mr. Meadows is the perfect gentleman at the FLA because they don't jump to conclusion like Shane Daly. They spend time, vet out people properly and grant gun license.
Wow. Lord, the caller get bad signal. Is what happening to the caller? Jesus. Caller, you there? Mr. Rohan?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Mr. Rohan, the people say it's digital or line you're using because the signal very bad.
Well, I don't know what network you see, but I can tell you this, my brother. Anytime Mr. Daly thinks that he can run the firearms licensing authority like that, my brother, there will be problem.
Wow.
Real problem, because guess what happened? There are people that have gun stores, my brother. They run firearms dealing, and these people are legal people who purchase and sell firearms for a living. I can tell you this, every firearm dealer on the Shane Daly must be having gray hair. Because you can imagine COVID striking the people, no gun selling. And then Mr. Daly taking away people permit after they have invested millions in their businesses. It cannot work like that, my brother. It's not going to work. And I can tell you this, the people will not sit well with Shane Daly at FLA. He has to go or he has to leave.
So you think, but I get to understand that he has the confidence of the Prime Minister.
I don't care what confidence Shane Daly have, my brother. I can tell you this much, you see? If he don't leave the Firearms Authority immediately, the FLA will be in a lot of deficit because people gun permit are not being renewed. And if they are not renewing the permit, buying bullets or purchasing gun legally, nobody will make no money. So
caller,
going to shut down and firearms dealership is going to lock down.
Mr. Rohan, I'm going to say this to you. I gather intelligence that I've gathered, is that Mr. Dalling was summoned to a meeting with the Prime Minister today.
Well, that is good that you gather that intelligence. I have no information of that, you see. What I have information of is Mr. Dalling is saying that he cannot drag in peace. People is coming to his house. But nothing like that is going on. He is telling lies. What is happening? He is getting very uncomfortable.
Why is he uncomfortable, caller?
Because he is taking away people gun licenses. Now, look at this now, my friend. I know you're the interviewer, but listen to me. If a man have a firearm for 25 years, a firearm is a concealed weapon, but remember everybody have associates and friends.
Yes.
So somebody must know that you're a licensed firearm holder if it's even your wife.
True.
When Shane Daly take away your licensed firearm now, you're going to be a naked man.
Lord Jesus.
You're going to be naked. What are you going to use to defend yourself when criminal elements come to take what is not there?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you're saying that the gun business is a money-making business. That is one of the arguments you're putting.
No, all right. Let me put it to you then. The FLA is an independent commission. The government doesn't pay the FLA. That is the statement that the government said some time ago. It is an independent organization. When you're running an organization,
it needs finances.
Charity or any kind of business, it needs financing. Now, the FLA gets its money by selling
guns and permits.
Selling the permits to security companies, private people, and business people who can afford according to them. So now, when a man have a permit for 2 or 3 guns, a gun permit now is like a 12,500 something in about a year to renew your license firearm. So if a man have 3 guns, he will be looking at 312 is what, 36? At least 36,000 per year for permit. All right, then if 500 people gun have been revoked, and you multiply 36,000 by 500, the FLA is going to lose millions.
True.
And then now this man sit at the board giving the link of Puskas. And then the FLA is now embarrassed because the people that get guns under Mr. Shane Dalling watch are the people that doing criminality with.
So,
and if you send back for Dennis Meadows and you run his file, everybody that get gun under Dennis Meadows, nobody do any stupidness. So it is clear that Mr. Meadows have a better judgment than Shane.
So you're saying one of the arguments you're putting forward, caller, is that you would have preferred a sound and wise person leading the FLA?
I would have preferred Mr. Meadows to lead the FLA and Mr. Shane Dalling to go home. Because obviously Mr. Shane Dalling is not a businessman. And if you're not a businessman, you cannot run business. Because he's injecting personal feelings in the government business.
But caller,
Government doesn't run like that, my brother.
can I say to you, one of the things that I've gathered is that Mr. Dalling has a personal vendetta against Mr. Meadows.
Well,
Can I say to you, let me finish, caller, because I want you to understand that I've gathered enough intelligence.
Yes, sir.
And the intelligence that I've gathered is that Mr. Dalling was reprimanded by Mr. Meadows and Mr. Dennis Wright because he wanted the approval be granted for him to pre-approve gun licenses. And Mr. Meadows carried it to the board and made it a public declaration that this cannot happen. And wait, caller. And I get to understand that something was leaked to the media. And when it got leaked, you know which radio station would carry it already. You know, and you and I know.
I don't know it. You have to tell me. But
I was told that it is alleged that Nationwide News
No,
Network.
you don't need to call nobody names. So what I'm saying is, if the radio station carries something that was reprimanded by Mr. Meadows and Shane Dalling, let me tell you something, my brother. If you ask me, you see, Shane Dalling is a parrot. And when I say parrot, I mean a damn parrot, because get to tell you something. Nobody in government business should carry the government business public without consulting their board. So Mr. Shane Dalling is letting puss out the bag. And if you ask me, the only puss that he's letting out is the stuff that he does. Because under the previous person watch, there has been no problem at the
But I'm going to go further, that after the board resigned, the document that was shared with this media house was found in the drawer. The drawer of Shane Dalling's desk.
My brother, listen to me, my brother. Certain things are private and confidential where Mr. Meadows and Mr. Dalling is concerned.
No, man, I got this from out of the internal team who said they want Jamaica to know. The personal vendetta was because Shane Dalling was reprimanded.
Yes, but my brother, I am telling you right now, the Prime Minister should reprimand Shane Dalling. Shane Dalling is a madman. Because I can tell you this. I have known over 50 business people who applied for license gun. And they are telling all sorts of foolishness. After you take the people money, you're denying them. Remember, there is a law that says the citizens of the country have a right to bear arms. And I don't know if the Prime Minister Shane Dalling knows that. The people, there is a law, my brother. You can find out from anybody at the FLA that tells you that once you're a citizen of the country, you have a right to bear arms. You understand, my brother?
Wow.
So I'm saying to you now, my friend.
Hold on there. I'm no longer at Newstalk. I was fired at Newstalk. I'm no longer at Newstalk. So my live is now my radio station.
Listen to me, my friend. Whether you're on live or on radio, what I am saying is Shane Dalling is putting personal feelings in government business. And I am saying to Mr. Dalling, you and Mr. Meadows is from the same party. If you have a personal vendetta against the gentleman, call the brethren and find out what is going on. don't be a parrot and come on public platform telling people foolishness. Because him even talking about Jack, you're getting gun. And he cannot prove, he cannot put up a gun license in the system that Jack, you're getting gun. Nobody at the FLA will give Jack, your gun. Madness is talking. Because Jack, is not sane and rational.
So what I'm going to ask you, if it is Mr. Rohan that he says that over 200 criminals, known criminals, have received gun, don't you think it is right that that list is published, that every Jamaican and people internationally can see what is happening?
Listen to me, my brother. That list is like throwing salt in a fresh wound. You see? He will be opening a can of worms that he is not able to eat off. So, as my good friend Earl, I would say, you see, let sleeping dogs lie.
So you're saying that the list not supposed to be published?
Why would the list be published and the FLA is a private organization?
But he has carried it that is over 200 criminals get guns under Dennis Meadows.
He's a parrot, my friend. And Mr. Dalling can talk what he will because he have a mouth to talk.
But I'm going to disagree with you here, caller. Mr. Rohan. I have listened to you, but I'm going to say in the interest of public business and knowledge, we would want the list to be published.
My good friend, listen to me. I don't want the list to be published. What I want for Shane Dalling to do, go home, leave the FLA, he will be able to drag in peace, and he will be able to sleep in peace.
So you're saying, rather than the list being published,
leave the work.
Leave the work. Wow.
That is what I'm saying, my brother, because listen to me now. Saying that it is alleged, that Shane Dalling is saying that he cannot drag in peace, he cannot walk in peace.
And he has to, how much security does him have? I hear the Prime Minister have about 19. Is how much?
I don't business how much Prime Minister security will have, I don't business about that, because if you was living good, you don't need no security. What I'm trying to say to you, my good friend, is if Shane Dalling don't grant the people gun to defend themselves, he will not be safe either. Because the people are saying you are letting us exposed to criminal elements to come and take our things without we putting up a resistance like that.
So you said you know at least 50 businessmen who...
Listen to me, my friend. If the Prime Minister, right now, the people, how much people have been turned down as a result of Shane Dalling? Maybe at the 2 million population in Jamaica, you see? I can tell you that much.